Good morning. Welcome back to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Bob. Appreciate you joining me today. Yesterday we discussed, or we introduced, what is it about being disrespected, being dissed, that is so painful to us? And we established that it definitely gets under our skin. But what is it about losing the respect of those, especially that we value the most, that affects us so profoundly? You see, nature has endowed us all with the drive to stay closely connected with each other. Through most of our history as a species, we've literally needed each other for protection against dangerous predators, for example. If you think about it for a second, we human beings take longer than any other species to mature, to actually being able to live independently of one another. And the reason for that is our brains are much more complex than all other species. And these brains take a long time to get to that mature place of supporting independence. And so while our brains and our bodies are developing, we absolutely need one another to be protected. We're hardwired to do whatever it is to stay connected to one another. Now that's the good news. The bad news is what happens sometimes when those that ought rightly to be our protectors, for whatever reason, become incapacitated, become absent, or maybe for some other reason default on this central role for all of those that are to provide safety. I'll tell you what happens when this essential connection is threatened. For example, in the form of the loss of respect, which leads to rejection. What will result is a primal anxiety that's deeper than virtually anything else. This is why, for example, why being dissed goes right into this very kind of fundamental layer of our anxiety or even panic. It's like the body is alerting us that we're greatly at risk here because we're being separated out or rejected. Now, what we're doing in this conversation is moving closer to bringing in the applications to addiction. And I'll tip my hat just a little bit for you to realize here that the pain we're talking about, in terms of the pain of separation, of being that can be symbolized and evoked by disrespect, is oftentimes way too great to bear. It just cannot bear it. And anything we can do to ease the pain, of course, this kind of primal anxiety or even panic, you can bet your bottom dollar that we'll be very interested in that. And so we'll connect even more so tomorrow when we come back, the link between this profound fear or threat that we experience around loss of connection. We'll begin to connect this directly to our addictive behaviors. I appreciate you being here today as we begin to establish now and clarify some of the psychological roots of addiction. And we'll continue on with this tomorrow. I wish you a good day. Thanks so much for joining me.